think fast. Somebody asked me a question this morning and it provoked an answer that I never used before. Like I even surprised myself and was laughing at the answer. But, somebody was asking about, crystals or in essence the copper and if the benefits, not so much if the benefits are really real, but, in essence, like how does it work on us or does it really work on us? And a lot of people ask that question of like, more so what the question was asking was like, can it help do all of this just from us wearing it? You know what I'm saying? So just from you wearing these crystals, can it help you? And, what came to mind was like, because in essence, with some things, especially with elements, we feel like the only way to heal or help ourselves is to ingest something. Like we gotta eat something. And the first thing that came to mind was like, can a person still feel my energy in could a person, feel the healing benefits of my energy without eating me? You know what I'm saying? Like, does a person have to eat me in order to feel my energy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for all of us. Does a person have to eat a piece of our flesh to feel our energy? Now, maybe, maybe some beings feel like they have to do that. And I'm joking, you know what I'm saying? But in a lot of cases, you know, uh, it's not funny, it's just me. I'm able to have like that dark comedy energy, but some beings that do feel like they have to eat, another being's flesh in order to feel their energy. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, like the energy is felt just from my presence. Like you have felt the great energy of somebody when they walked into the room or you walked into the room. You're feeling their energy. You know, did you have to? Uh, and matter of fact, you didn't have to touch them or you didn't have to eat their flesh. So here it is where you felt a person's energy and you didn't have to touch them or eat their flesh. Not just with like with anything. Yes, there is an intensity when you get closer and closer, you know. So again, if a piece of copper is way over here compared to it being like a little closer or it being, worn around my neck, and even more so again, like with, wearing crystals or, dealing with metals, is also feeling it, wearing it on our skin. Because again, it is more effective, touching us, than not touching us, but it still works even though it's not touching us. Again, there's no absolute answer of like, oh, well, either, you know, it works all the way or I don't know. It's levels to all of the little answers and situations we're dealing with, in this realm. It's not no one little absolute answer to everything, it's layers to what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just one way to explain it or one thing that's going on. But again, besides again, like the science of vibration, which everything's vibrate, and then the science of understanding that through that vibration, you're creating a sound wave and also you're creating like a auric field or like like an aura around you. So the same thing with the crystals, it's atoms and those elements are vibrating and we're feeling, that energy from its presence without having to ingest it, you know what I'm saying? Without having to, infuse it into our skin, you know what I'm saying? Like just by wearing it, it works on us. Now, as I'm sharing this, always realize we're sharing insight with people. All I could share the truth of my experience and from what I read, but I can't force anybody to believe me. So I'm not sharing insight to try to force anybody to believe me. You know what I'm saying? Like that can't happen. Like, it's all you. You shifting your consciousness through what you believe is true or not. You know what I'm saying? Again, like the Reiki healer is just a helper. You know, yeah, you could say they're healing you, but no, they're just helping you. You healed yourself by having the perception to believe that Reiki energy could actually work. So you're healing yourself through the belief of the fact that chi energy does move and that you can heal yourself with chi. And a Reiki worker is just a external, basic external aspect of you believing in this being able to heal you. So poof, it's somebody representing. It's almost like that representation of you that knows and believes that it can move energy on this level. But again, it's your own mind, your own perception, which is allowing for the healing to take place. I always think to the joke of like Abraham Hicks bringing up, the Jesus story in the essence of like, you know, after Jesus would quote unquote heal somebody, it's like, hey, go for it, but tell no one. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more so your perception. You believed I healed you, so you are healed, and literally, they would be healed. But if that person go around again, don't tell nobody, because if you told a person who goes to the doctor that you was healed by somebody, it's possible that if you sit around them and allow for them to express their doubts and fears of why they don't believe that a person could heal them, or that you know, as they express those doubts, you won't be hurt by it, like in a sense of, again, like you just got your eyesight healed by, by a helper, a Reiki helper, let's just say, and you go around somebody who believes in a doctor and you tell them like, oh yeah, I got a Reiki healer or helper to, heal my eyesight. It's like, oh no, that ain't true, and this and that, and the doctors do this and doctors do that. But basically, they'll spew, and again, not that they doing it to be purposely harmful towards you. They're just speaking from a place of where they only know how to speak. You know what I'm saying? They only know of the doctor and, the science that was taught through, being indoctrinated through slavery and stuff like that. So that's the only thing that they could express. You know what I'm saying? So, bringing that back with the, with the crystals or with the healing in general, you know what I'm saying? But again, just with, it's through the vibration and through understanding, you know what I'm saying? Again, that you don't have to, through the law of vibration, you don't have to ingest something, like it becomes more intense, when you're just, I'm just like with where the levels of feeling each other energy. Like I could feel a person energy just by being in the room with them. Like, all right. And to be specific, I walk in the room and there's a queen in the room. I could feel her energy just by walking in the room, you know. And if we sit down close to each other, I could feel her energy even more. And if we get real close and we decide to have some, some sexual connections, then we feel our each other's energy even more stronger. But the energy was felt throughout each process, from me walking into the room, from me sitting on side, and from the sexual experience. One just more intense than others, but still being felt regardless. You know what I'm saying? Just like a premonition vibe. Like sometimes you could feel things on a premonition. Like, say for instance, you about to get a sound healing tomorrow, and you could start to feel yourself getting better before you even really get the sound healing, because your body or your psychic ability is kind of giving you a flash view or a flash feeling, in that sense of what is, how you gonna feel after after it's finished, the results of it. You know what I'm saying? Or you catch a little pain in your stomach, you know, or a certain pain in the chakra, and wondering like, why I'm getting this pain in the chakra? Ain't nothing around me fucking with me on this level. And then come later or the next day, you're experiencing something that's, dealing with that chakra pain that, you was exposed to the day before, in a sense of like showing also you could feel things even before it even actually, manifests in that sense. And hence, like with manifestation work wise geared towards, one of the stronger aspects is like visualization with emotion, like being able to feel it before you see it, because that's what, allows for it to manifest in essence. It's like how you gonna feel when you finish when you get your crystal business together, or when you get your Reiki certification, or when you're able to get your food truck, or like, or whatever the case may be. But you're visualizing that feeling first and foremost, but not going too far off track. Again, it's levels to the feeling, but you could feel nonetheless. Again, like with working with crystals and things of this nature, it's a certain vibration which creates like a sound and light in essence, but sound and light, and it creates an auric field, you know. And so that auric field of the copper, of the crystals, is interacting with us. Same thing with Moldavite. Like I feel Moldavite before I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel me starting to shift my awareness before I even, touch the piece of Moldavite. Or I feel like, I start to feel a psychedelic experience, you know, a little like on a light level before I even touch the mushrooms, or just having the mushrooms around. Again, like it's levels to it. Just by having the mushrooms around you and with you, the vibration is being expressed and felt. Now, again, and this where it comes to the level of our healthiness, and hence why, like again, it's no good or bad or right or wrong to dieting and stuff like that. It's just understanding that, the more we eat unhealthily, and especially things like heavy unhealthy salts or heavy sugars, that messes with the part of our body that picks up on feelings, you know what I'm saying, that's sensitive to energy, let's just say. So again, anybody who eats a lot of unhealthy foods are less sensitive to energy. And I done seen that work within myself. So as I'm bringing up mushrooms, like when I used to take mushrooms, it could only go so far. It was almost could just be just a feeling. Like I wasn't really getting realization. The first time I took mushrooms, I didn't really get no deep realizations per se, as much as it just kind of made me feel some kind of way. Why? Because I was there, like I was still eating unhealthy and drinking a lot and doing a lot of other shit. So I wasn't able to feel, the level of energy due to my, how can I say, the dampen, due to my energy receptors, or for lack of a better word, that part of me that could feel, what I'm saying, was dampened by all this, and I even say just unhealthy foods, but also just the overwhelmingness of a lot of, like, spices and, again, sugars and salts in foods. Uh, but just, yeah, more so overwhelmingness of flavors and salts and sugars and stuff like that dampen our ability to feel. Hence why, and again, look at it through example. If you ever fasted just a little bit, I'm pretty sure you notice the difference in the sensitivity of your energy. And realizing again, like, damn, once I became sensitive to feeling energy, it also gave me the perception, well, shit, these things are always vibrating and giving off a energy strongly in essence. It's just the level of how sensitive I am on whether I feel it or not. And again, and another thing too, a lot of us sometimes look for actual feeling. But just because you're not actually, like, if I'm working with a piece of pyrite, just because I don't feel like, oh, my hand's zinging, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could, it'll still be working even though you don't feel it that intensely. Because here it is, you might have not felt no intense energy or none of that when you got your piece of pyrite. But you, after getting it and having it for 3 weeks, you notice a difference from the past 3 weeks where, all of a sudden you're being a little more organized, you're having a little more mental clarity, You know, you're a little more confident, a little more creative. And it's not an overwhelming feeling, you know, it's just changes you're making throughout your day. So, you know, you are feeling it, you know, and then that just goes back to, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing like the English language and, you know, trying to interpret higher forms of consciousness through this language could become very difficult. But we ain't crying. We ain't gonna play victim to it. You know, we're gonna do the best. You know, but again, like you're feeling the energies. You know, again, same thing with the moon. You know, a person may not believe in the moon. A person may not be, and again, it's just intensity. If I'm detoxing and I've been fasting, I could feel the moon energy again, like back to premonition vibe. Shit, I feel a new moon or moon energy or eclipse. Shit, a couple of days before it even actually, is officially coming through in essence. So, like, if the full moon on the 20th of September, you know, on the 15th of September, I'm kind of like feeling a little bit of that full moon energy. And more so, what I as I'm saying that, it's more so you're just clear enough to also not only feel it, but know that's what you're feeling. Like you're so clear that your intuition and your insight is able to come through and let you know, like you're vibrating on a higher frequency when you got less external things inside of you. That's just by default. You're going to be more clear because you don't have all these different chemicals, all these different other dimensions, because a chemical or element is a different dimension. You know, whether beneficial or unbeneficial, is still a different dimension or extra dimension compared to you being, cleansed from fasting and stuff like that. But it's like the full moon come through, you could feel it, you know, uh, very strongly, and you're aware like, damn, it's the moon energy compared to somebody who's less conscious and less sensitive, where they going, everything kind of seems to be going the way, like, oh, ain't nothing changing. But if you paid attention from the outside looking in, you would see that during a full moon energy, they would do things that's uh, more emotionally reactive during the full moon cycles. You know, now they may not be able to notice it because they eating a bunch of unhealthy food, stuff like that, and they're not in or aware of astrology, or they even try to keep away from it and they don't believe in it. It's still affecting them. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why, I seen the importance for myself of why I just want to, do my best to just work on certain aspects, because it's like, all right, this energy working on us regardless if we believe it or not. It's certain energies that's gonna be there regardless, you know what I'm saying? Now, of course, to release from the intensity of it, we don't give it that power, like in the sense of like I don't give power to my zodiacs to the level where it's like, oh, I'm only operating out of the energy of sun sign Capricorn. It's like, no, I'm capable of more than just that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna, like, again, a Mercury retrograde. Like, I'm not gonna let a Mercury retrograde prevent me from communicating. It does affect communication. It's real that it does affect, but again, like not allowing for it to rule me to the extent of like, oh, Mercury retrograde coming through, so I just gotta be quiet and not deal with any commerce or computers or technology. You know, it's like, no, you know what I'm saying? If anything, it's a great work to work through those situations, like to communicate, even though it's Mercury retrograde, things of this nature. And understanding, again, uh it's just levels to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's levels to it. So bringing it back full circle from the space of, talking about crystals and if they work on us just from wearing us, we're wearing us. Yes, they do work from just wearing it, but it's levels of intensity. If you did a crystal elixir with some water and ingested it, it would, work pretty strongly. Use it in a bathtub, use a crystal grid over your body or around your body, you know, or you got a certain crystal that's just sitting in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like my big quartz that's sitting in here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's working on its energy is permeating into the environment. You know, so regardless if I touch it with my skin or not, it would help if I touched it. But it's also just working just from being there. You know what I'm saying? Same thing like with uh being in a certain region. You know, like you're not ingesting the soil when you're in Arizona to get that fiery energy or that red energy that the soil in Arizona carry. It carries that iron, that Mars energy. It's like a lot, and that's why people tend to be more adventurous and active in that area. You know what I'm saying? Due to the energy of the the soil, but the energy. Do people have to eat the soil or wear the soil around in there? Because that's also the thing too. It's like understanding the aspect of wearing crystals. A part of it is by choice and partially aesthetics. Because again, like there's crystals walking around. I mean, there's crystals under our feet. These elements under our feet in our environments. But wearing it is to be specific. Like, hey, I want to channel specifically the energy of iron, and I want to specifically channel it in the shape of a cube. So I want to work with the iron energy and the energy of a cube, aka a piece of pyrite. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm trying to work with uh the energy of, let's just say, I don't know, but like let's say, oh, I lost the example aspect, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like you uh wearing the crystal, like yes, you get the energy, so that's what I'm saying. Like yes, you get the energy from your environment, you know, but it's also specifically you could get it from work. So that's where wearing the crystals and things of this nature come in. It's like with magic and healing in general, but magic just an aspect of our subconscious creating reality. With the magic of it, it's like wearing it, brings a little more, sharpens the intention, because I could say generally, oh, I'm abundant, but what about that? But like how to be specific about the abundance and prosperity in my realm. My abundance shows up in the form of crystals. My abundance shows up in the form of a this or that. But again, like specifying with words or specifying with the actual crystal. Because here it is. I say I'm abundance. Well, all right. To also key in on this abundance, let me bring in the crystals, green aventurine, and pyrite to amplify my intention. That doesn't mean that my intention wasn't gonna work, without, like, my intention to still work without green aventurine and without pyrite. Green aventurine and pyrite just intensifies the process, you know. And with all of this being said, I realize again too, on another level, is doing things to not try to rush the process. Like, yeah, you working with crystals to, bring forth a strong intention, like to focus in the intention stronger. But again, I realize whenever anything is done out of trying to rush a process or take a shortcut, or done as a means to an end instead of really enjoying it in the now moment, it kind of comes back like it doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? But again, back to the I was talking about the ground, like again, you go in California, you feeling the gold energy, you feeling the gold underneath your feet. But are you wearing the ground of California around your neck all the time? But at the same time, it's still healing you. You still feeling that 49 of gold energy underneath your feet. You know what I'm saying? Again, there's levels. Cause yeah, and then if you was to take a piece of a crystal from that ground and wear it, it would amplify that energy, because it's more closer in proximity, because I realize again it's like a game of percentages in essence, as well in this realm. What's the percentage of how much you are focusing on what's best for you, then that's the percentage of how much you'll see that manifest. You know, what's the percentage of how close a proximity something is to you, that's the percentage of how intense it will be felt. I could feel a bird from in the crib outside, but it could be also felt more intensely if I was on that vibe of like a cat or animal to that extent where I'm like go out there and then actually eat the bird. Yeah, the vibration would be even stronger, strongly felt. But again, that comes with other energies along with it. You know what I'm saying? As far as like eating it, raw like that or whatever the case may be. But you get the picture. So bringing it full circle again, and just laughing at that example again, like does a person have to eat my flesh in order to feel my energy? And again, jokingly, even though some people believe that, and even again, I made a joke a while back, and as I make the joke, to each his own on what your religion practice is and what you believe in, you know, if it helps you to find alignment, inner peace, and be able to love yourself and live a happy life, and so be it. But just bringing up the perspective of, with communion, where you eat the blood and body of Christ. And I was like joking about like how that's cannibalism, like how the church mimics cannibalism by eating the blood and body of Christ, and also the contradictory energy of, like reading about the scriptures to align with Christ, but yet it's still always externalized, like, Christ gonna come back and die for me, or I gotta externalize Christ and eat him in order for him to be a part of my energy, what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, you know, and just understanding, like, again, like seeing how that even shows up in religion, where, some beings feel like they gotta eat something in order to feel its energy, you know, when for one, what I'm saying, with anything, it starts with us. We gotta shift our energy again. Like I had to even shift my perception to even be buying crystals, because at one time I never even worked with crystals or knew they existed on this level. You know what I'm saying? Like my perception had to shift first to even allow myself to get in the realm of working with crystals and buying crystals and things of this nature. But yes, the crystals do work on us, and yes, it's levels to how things are felt. You know, again, because I would always bring up that, and you have to honor the levels of how things are felt too, in the sense of like, I do realize why some people, you know, because a question I would raise is like, all right, if I'm an empath and I feel energy so intensely, you know, then what's the difference? Like, well, what difference would it make if I had sex with somebody? Because if I could feel your energy that intense, regardless, then it wouldn't make sense to not have sex with you, in the sense of like, with a person that you're looking to have that connection with. But it's like if an empath could feel somebody having a broke leg, from across the room, then that seems like that again, like that seems like it's just as intense as a sexual connection. So what would be the difference? Like, why be so guarded about your sexual experience if you could feel energy that intensely without a sexual experience? But then again, it goes to the intensity of it. Well, it's because if I could feel things that intense externally, then it's even more intense sexually, you know what I'm saying, when it has that connection. So that's, in essence why some, are like that. It's like, yeah, if you feeling it that intense without the connection, imagine with the connection, physically, how strong it would be, you know. And again, that's some people's mentality from an unhealthy perspective with like, trying to harvest bodies and, and trying to eat people flesh and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why some people feel like that's their way to salvation in some way, form, or fashion. But peace, happy now, now is a vibrate, not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now, just remembering to tap into our own inner guidance system, you know, uh, not depending on external conditions, uh, like as much. Like, yeah, we might still watch little videos and do little things, like read a little book and things of this nature, but definitely, you know, uh, being tapped into our intuition on a strong level. And again, like even with me expressing insights, take what resonate, leave what don't. Because what I realize a lot right now too is, if a person doesn't articulate or know how to articulate the fact of like, hey, some of the things I'm expressing is more so from my personal experience than the objective whole experience. If we're not aware to share like that, or as a person who watching, you're not aware to watch with the awareness like, hey, this person is speaking from their perspective. Because again, like some people telling you to be aware of certain things, that's more so coming from their experience and what they have to be aware of. And likewise with me, you know what I'm saying? Hence why I always express that though. Like I'm aware of it, so I share and say, hey, take what resonate, leave what don't. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd be the first to express, and I done shared before where I would be listening to different teachers, very adept, very adept teachers, you know what I'm saying? I always bring up the joke of like, the balance at listening to Bobby Hemmett, matter of fact, and much love for appreciation for Bobby. It's like, he'd be saying certain things and I could tell like, all right, that's coming from more so his experience and his perspective, especially like, more so from his human perspective, or, and I wouldn't look at it as good or bad, right or wrong. I just knew like, all right, this part of the information is more so from his personal perspective. So I'm gonna kind of leave this here, you know what I'm saying? Like, and listen for the things that are, beneficial for me. Because again, one what's beneficial for one person may not be beneficial for another. In some cases, or the way we do certain things, it may be beneficial for some people to read whole books, while others it's best for us to just scan through them, you know. But again, I think about like also like you talk about healing itself. Like, oh yeah, I drank an orange soda and clear up my my cold or whatever unhealthiness. It had a little story though about drinking orange soda, and this is true. You can use the alchemy of your mind and use something that would be irrational, seem like it wouldn't be rational for this to help you, and it could. At the same time, though, that goes to your own level of perception. Because if you're a person that's that against drinking soda, and the energy of being taught that drinking soda is extremely bad, if that energy is plugged in your subconscious too strongly, you won't be able to do that. So as much as what Bobby Hemmett said is true, not only, from a subjective level for himself, and that, it's possible for others to be able to drink orange soda and do the same thing. It's some that, again, that's so locked into being against that wouldn't work for them. So in essence, that would be untrue for them. You know what I'm saying? And again, like just understanding that aspect of objective, subjective truth. You know, subjective truth is is like how magic works. You know, it's subjective truth, not objective. So magic is more so to a person's particular perspective in essence. You know, it's like this ring is my magic ring, but only I know that that's my magic ring. I get this ring to somebody else, it's just, oh, this is a cool, beautiful ring. You know, it don't hold the same energy for somebody else because, you know, again, that's my subjective truth to say that this ring is my lucky ring. No telling what they gonna do with the ring or how they feel, you know what I'm saying? See now. gotta gotta say everything that I feel is necessary to say. Cause again, right now too, like making sure, you know, being impeccable with the words to the best of our ability, you know. So it's time. Peace. Happy now. Now's a vibrate. Uh Remember any and all donations greatly appreciated. Remember to hit the like button for the algorithms, like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can get notified whenever I do post new videos or do live videos. You can check them out. And remember to check out my Instagram page, Universal Frequencies 1. You know, not the regular Universal Frequencies, Universal Frequencies 1 on Instagram. And also Epic Lifestyles on Instagram for any other crystal artwork in talisman. So peace, peace. Now is the vibrate, y'all. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past, right?